Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, this is another episode of Coffee and Contemplation. Did you catch that? Did you catch that all? Did you? Be honest, because this is your host, Old Heart, and I'm serving up a big, fat, fresh brewed coffee and contemplation right up in your face. That's right, you stumbled upon another podcast. No, you don't care. Nobody cares. Either way. Speaking of nobody caring, I just thought how fun it would be to maybe look up how and where to submit a UFO report, just in case you have one out there, dear listener. I know, with my tinfoil hat on, I'm sitting here thinking, who else needs some advice as to how to navigate the world of extraterrestrial? Thank you for that applause. That was the live studio audience, and I was saying extraterrestrial laugh. So, if you have a UFO experience, raise your hand. There's nobody else in the room. You're probably listening to this podcast by yourself because you don't want to tell your friends about it because it's so embarrassing to listen to such a weird podcast. Well, that's okay. Put your fucking hand down. I'm going to tell you how to submit. I just typed into Google who to submit a UFO sighting to, and shockingly, the first thing that came up is a wikiHow article. So, just to scroll through it, just so you and I both know, according to wikiHow.com, you have to do a 3-step process, and part 1 of the 3 steps is, we'll just say we're at 1A, okay? 1A. Immediately write down the basics of your experience. So, you just saw, a UFO pick up a cow and then zoom back up to space, right? You're like, holy shit. All right, I just saw a UFO. I saw some extraterrestrial life. Take Betty, because your cow's name is Betty. Betty, and zoom back up clouds there. I don't know why you sound like that, but you do. Okay, so immediately write down the basics of your experiences. So things like, were there any witnesses, time of the experience, the location of where you were, number of objects seen, like was there 1, 2, or how's it go? It's like 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Just list off the experiences or the number of objects you saw. It says do not include your personal information in the report. WikiHow doesn't want you to include too much personal information. Thank you, WikiHow. You're always watching out for the user. Okay, so 1A. That's basically 1A. Immediately write down the basics of your experience. 1B. Include as many details about the object or objects as possible. So it says, things like, were there lights? What color? Where did it change color? See, this is why people don't report UFO experiences. It's because people like the live studio audience just laugh at them. They laugh right in your face. Yeah, you saw a UFO. Sure you did. Go ahead. Laugh me right off stage. See if I care. Not that I'm even on a stage. I'm just recording a podcast. We all know that. Getting reality here. Including as many details as possible. Like how many lights were there? Were they flashing or solid lights on the object or objects, depending on how many you saw? Was there like one color? What color was it? Did it change colors? The brightness of the object? Pretty importantly, this one, the motion. It says, things like how fast did it go? Did it move up and down, back and forth, smoothly, erratically? Like, what was the movement of the objects or the UFOs like? The behavior of them. Did the object move or land? Did it make sounds? Did what was it doing? It says things like did it leave a trail or a haze? Those are things to take notes of. Interactions with space, like did it engage with other aircrafts or like electrical or magnetic effects to have like a car, like did car engines stop? Things like that. So 1B, include as many details as possible. 1C, note the size and how far away the objects likely were. That's pretty obvious. 1D, include details on the shape of the crafts. Like, was it a saucer? Was it like a hat shape, a sphere? Was it like, there's all sorts that have been reported, so you have to be on top of that shit. Like, what kind of shape was it, Pretty easy. Where were we at? 1E, note the weather at the time of the sightings. So like, was it cloudy? Was it rainy? Was it bright? Was it sunny? Was it nighttime? Let's see. We're on to 1F. Include as many any pictures or videos when you're writing all this down or like compiling your stuff. So if any good photos you have. Don't give anybody a bunch of bunk. You know what I mean? Oh my god. Okay, so we're on what? We're on 1G. 1G has my shit. Shoutouts to Castle Roll. Shoutouts to Monkflower Band. Shoutouts to Mooner Stick. Shoutouts to Evil L. Shoutouts to Yellow Teeth. Shoutouts to anybody listening. Shoutouts to Uncaged. Shoutouts to Phil Collins. You can find all those cats on Instagram, by the way. Up in your face. Anybody listening, good on you. You know what I mean? But okay. So, reeling back into the wikiHow here, because this article's ridiculous, but sort of informative, which I feel like you can say a lot of their shit. Anyway, we're on like 1G, I believe, and the picture that's attached with this is like literally a lady crying. And it says underneath it, like, this is the step. Take note of any impediments you were facing at the time. So obviously, like, were you wearing glasses? Were you wearing headphones, which the lady has both glasses and headphones on? Were you crying? Were you, like, fucked up on drugs? Like, if you ate a bunch of mushrooms and then you saw that you think you saw a UFO in the sky, people are probably going to be like, yo, dude, pump the brakes on that. All right, moving on. The next step, it says write it all together into a cohesive, engaging report. Like, that's just something that people can just like pull out their ass. Like, all right, I'm gonna give all this information to the Stephen King machine in my fucking computer, and it's just gonna like poop out like a really great, convincing story. No. Okay, not everybody has the talent to like create an engaging story, so just that's a bit trivial. Okay, so this is the most important step, though. It's like who to file your report to. This is part 2. So we're on part 2 of 3. Who to file your report to, and it says to choose the agencies to file to with discretion. They have like a handful on here. It says local law enforcement agencies with like. Get out of here. Who trusts them? The National UFO Reporting Center, the Mutual UFO Network, the Center for UFO Studies, and the Alien UFO Research Center. So there's a handful of actual options that could like link you up with other people who have also experienced things, or to put your sighting into a database of other sightings, which actually, it's kind of a good thing. The more we have information on this, the more eventually convincing we can make an argument for it. Like, we can eventually make a more convincing argument to saying, like, these hundreds of thousands of fucking people have had UFO experiences. How can you people not believe that there is shit out there? Anyway, so, if there's any forms to fill out, use them to the best of your ability. But be ready for further, be ready for further questioning or, the request of like evidence, like cameras or like, like cameras, like phone, like photos or, videos or whatever. But one of the last steps in part 2, though, it just says, never pay anyone to exhibit your experience. So, like, it says there are tons of websites that are scams. If you have a true experience, only go to reputable sources like the ones listed above. Do your research beforehand and never have anyone sell your story because it's yours. And that's actually kind of an important step. It's laughable, but important. Like, it is your story. Don't let anybody else take credit for it. Make sure if you do care to report it to the right people so they will take proper care of it. You know what I mean? They won't, like, try and retell it. They won't try and add extra details. They won't try and make it theirs. It just kind of goes into this database, which there are a ton of people out there that have had UFO experiences, as I've talked about before on this fucking podcast. So, you're not alone, man. Contrary to what people want you to believe, you are not alone in this universe or in your sightings of UFOs, man. And then there's like some new age steps, you know, for like getting more info out there. Like if you have a video, put it on YouTube, of course, because like everybody wants to add another UFO sighting video to YouTube. Contact your local TV stations, try and reach out to like media outlets, join a local UFO organization, which is a very real thing, man. They're all over the place. There's tons of UFO organizations all over the states. But I just wanted to turn, so while I'm on the UFO subject today, I wanted to turn attention to one of the most outlandish things that kind of popped up as of late. And I want to talk about that like whole Storm Area 51 thing. So I know we're all desperate for information on aliens, but actually storming Area 51, we can all admit, is as dumb of an idea as, say, like the flat Earth theory. It's obviously like going to be any sort of like action would be met with something the American people wouldn't like. Let's say that. But to turn light on the situation, I found this article on the latest UFOsightings.net that was titled "Storm Area 51 Turns into Festival, May Feature Surprise Performance by..." Any guesses? Any guesses, listeners? Limp Bizkit. So gross. Limp Bizkit. So it says, after the creation of the Facebook page for the event of the raid, the actual military base went viral, and the little motel near the secretive Air Force facility started booking up rooms. The original event, Storm Area 51, They Can't Stop Us All, drew the attention of 2 million people, and now it might be turned into a Limp Bizkit alien fest. So, basically, good things can happen if you try. That's what I'm getting at, I guess. Either way, this has been a nonsense episode of Coffee and Contemplation. I'm your host, Old Heart. I've been stuck at home, feeling a little Mr. Yuck, but either way, it doesn't stop my mind from wanting to sit down and entertain you dear listeners, you dear folks out there. Keep doing what you do. Keep ripening up your coconuts as best as you can. And if you do see a UFO, report it to the right people so they don't laugh at you. But be prepared for naysayers. That was the last step on part 3 of the wikiHow.com article. So go out there and remember you're not alone. And keep your stick on the ice.